with oppositional defiant disorder isn't seeking treatment because they don't conceptualize their problems as being oppositional. If they come to treatment on their own, it's because of different issues like depression, anxiety, or even ADHD. It's only after getting more information about their relationship history or childhood history that the oppositional issues become apparent. Those issues could still be addressed in therapy if the person is motivated to change.
And welcome to Counsel of the Day with Shanrae. And I am Shanrae. Give me a minute. Let me add my add everything in. Yes. And we are in week 4, part 1. I know it's not Tuesday, it is Monday, but this week is Thanksgiving. So this week I'll be coming on tonight and tomorrow night, and then I won't see you all until February 2026. Okay, so it is really, really good to be here. I'm a little tired, but that's okay. Still a great day. Blessed to be here and love doing what I do. Okay, I don't know why I can't get on my live on my Facebook. I'm trying to so I can follow everybody. There we go. All right, here we go. Let me start out with my website disclaimer, and let's move this along. I'm gonna try my best. As y'all, this week we are talking. Our subtitle title is about ODD in the marriage. ODD in the marriage. I'm gonna skip over my bio and go right to the website disclaimer. Please be aware that due to the nature of the technology that I'm using, there can be no assurance of confidentiality when using this online service. It should also be noted that due to changes in policies, that all replies are to be used as advisory and informational only, and it will not constitute an official determination. Information that's provided by myself are subject to the limitations of current and available material, but the final responsibility rests with you, the individual, for achieving a goal. Information online is designed to be helpful. However, this information does change frequently, and it is recommended that you consult another physician, another specialist, and or religious leader to aid you in your overall behavioral wellness. I want to say good evening. Hey, Rose 6642. I believe I'm saying that. It's hard for me to see this far. Good evening, my TikTok family, Instagram family, YouTube family, Snapchat family, Facebook family. Good evening, everybody. So good to have y'all on tonight. We are going to be talking about, again, oppositional defiant disorder within the marriage. Okay. And let me move this on. I am a Christian counselor. So the scripture that I would like to use is Deuteronomy 31:6, the NIV version. It says to be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you, nor will he forsake you. All right. So I'm a Christian counselor. I do not push this on anybody, but that's just I like to stand on virtue ethics. For my fellow counselors and theorists, virtue ethics is what I follow. I also practice cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. All right, so let's move on to our key points for this evening. Our key points for tonight is oppositional defiant disorder within the marriages manifest as a pattern of hostility, argumentative behavior, and so on. We're going to go more into that. Then adults with ODD often struggle with authority. We've been hearing that, and that's just not adults. It's also anyone who is diagnosed or undiagnosed but has the symptoms of ODD. Effective communication strategies, setting consistent boundaries, and learning how de-escalation strategies and skills. And then I want to highlight Mission Connection Healthcare, and that is just one facility that specializes in ODD care or ODD therapy. All right, so let's move this along, guys. Let's move this along. And again, thank you all for your participation. Hey, Spider, is that right, Spider Sammy? How are you? May God bless you too. And thank you so much. I want to say thank you again, Roll 6642, TB2. Hey, TB2. Hey, TB2. How you doing? I want to say hello to you all. Okay. So let's move on to the symptoms. I'm going to be very brief with the symptoms of ODD, or oppositional defiant disorder, within a marriage and in adults. So let's get into this. Let me move this along. As you can see this picture here, and this is a very realistic picture of not just, this is just couples period, but when you're dealing with someone with a disorder, it kind of magnifies some things. Hey, Ocean Skull, how you doing? How y'all doing? Okay, let me magnify this and then I'm gonna close it back just a little bit. There we go. So it says your spouse, this is just like some symptoms. Your spouse seems overly argumentative. Okay, sometimes your roommate, if you want to call me your roommate, is unnecessarily hostile. These are and other common manifestations of ODD may be apparent within your home. All right, so number one, some of the symptoms is that they always need to win the argument with their spouse. Somebody, they always, who has this ODD symptoms, they always want to win an argument. Number two, they continue to fight against whoever in authority figures and society. Number three, this is even some physical things. Leave socks on the floor just because they know it may annoy you, or leave some clothes on the floor just because they know it may annoy you. Number four, they get cited for disorderly conduct by police officers. Okay, this happens every day. I work for a city hall here in Georgia. It's a lot of things that I see and I witness with a lot of adults who have these type of symptoms. I'm telling you, just totally have no regard for authority figures at all. All right, and then so even some people are involved in bar brawls or physical altercations within the public. Okay, and then the last one has a hair trigger temper. The littlest thing sets them off. Okay, so these are some symptoms here of people who are struggling with ODD, or oppositional defiant disorder. I'm sorry, what did TB say? He said Shanrae. Yes. All right, so let's move this along. Oppositional defiant disorder, or ODD. Okay. All right. So, and I like the picture. Do you see the picture there, guys? Where you see this, the spouses, they're sitting back to back, shoulder to shoulder. Okay. So what is it again? What is oppositional defiant disorder in a marriage? Oppositional defiant disorder is characterized by a persistent pattern of angry moods, arguments all the time, defiant behavior, vindictiveness that significantly impairs their social, occupational, or other important areas of their functioning. Okay, so while typically diagnosed, this is diagnosed in childhood, ODD can continue into adulthood. And then though it often presents differently than it does in children, adult ODD is not simply being stubborn or strong-willed. I'm going to say that again. Adult ODD is not just being strong-willed or stubborn. It's not. Okay? It's a recognized mental health condition that affects how a person interacts with the world around them. Okay, so it's extreme behavior. So within adults, ODD often manifests as persistent negativity, persistent hostility towards authority figures, including their bosses, law enforcement, or even their spouses in relationships. They always have difficulty accepting responsibilities for their own actions, and they always blame other people for their problems or their mistakes. So these behaviors are not occasional bad mood or normal disagreements. This type of behavior represents a consistent pattern that causes significant distress or impairment in their daily lives, in their daily functions. So that's the difference between someone who has symptoms or undiagnosed symptoms of ODD and someone that's just having in a bad mood. I was at work and one of my coworkers called me to tell me something that was about to happen at the job and what to expect. And so when I spoke with them on the phone, they said, "Oh, Owens," they call me by my married name, Owens. "You are always so up. You're always so cheery and smile. I can hear the smile in your voice. Are you ever in a bad mood? Do you ever get upset?" And I said, quite often, like everybody else. Quite often I get angry, I get upset, I be moody, all of that. I said, but you know what? I have learned down through the years how to compartmentalize this. I've learned how to keep my personal whatever, keep that in my personal affairs. And when I'm at work or in a professional setting, that I'm to keep a professional hat on, and don't cross those things over. And so, and it was funny because this is a whole adult that I was speaking with. Of course, if they're working at a city hall with me, they are, and have a very important role. This person I was speaking with, and that person said to me, "You know what? I'm gonna start practicing that too. I really liked how you said that, and I'm gonna actually start practicing that as well." And I said, "Oh, wow." That really touched me when my coworker said that to me. That absolutely touched me when she said that, to actually take ownership over her feelings, how she feels, and how not to cross it over into the other parts of her life or her world. That said a lot. Hey, Helen, how you doing? Good to see you. So that's the difference between someone who has symptoms of ODD and someone who's just having a bad day. All right. So let's now move on to why ODD creates relationship challenges. Let's move on to that right now. And I think, oh Lord, I think I'm moving too fast. Where am I at? Oh, all right, here we go. Why ODD creates relationship challenges. Number one, hey Trina. Number one, the defiance hostility cycle. There is a cycle here. So oppositional defiant disorder, or ODD, often fuels a defiance hostility cycle that can erode their relationships over time. It usually starts when a person with ODD interprets a request as criticism or as control. You don't control me. You don't tell me what to do, like that. Which will be sparking resistance. And so their marriage, their partner, their spouse responds with frustration or more forceful demands, which only strengthens the person with ODD with the sense of being controlled, and then deepens the defiance. It makes them become more defiant, which that is a terrible relationship. Okay, so recognizing that this pattern is tied to the disorder, not personal rejection, is the first step towards change. Now, this is easier said than done, because what adult want to be? I don't care if it's a person with a disorder. Who wants to be partnered with somebody that you feel like you can't grow with? You can't build with, you can't even trust that they will make the right decisions on their behalf and your family's behalf. That is a challenge. It is a challenge. And this is why it is so important. If a person recognizes this cycle, that these are some things that they're going through, please do not be ashamed or afraid to take the steps to work towards getting the help and the strategies and the therapy that you need to become the best version of you. Who wants to go through their life always repeating the same failures and never, ever, ever learning? This is serious. Okay. So number two, power struggles and control issues. It's really, really scary when you're connected or married with somebody, and the person that you're connected to, either you with the disorder, you feel like somebody's trying to control you, and you're not understanding. No, that's not. I'm trying to speak logically with you so we can have a more successful relationship rather than always having. It is terrible when you're constantly having to fix something that should not have that shouldn't be have been fixed in the first place, like little common things, little things, things that you actually can control is what I'm saying. And even getting therapy and help. Listen, I'm gonna break it down from a physical thing, because an organ that needs help is an organ that needs help. If people who have kidney problems, they're on a donor list to get another kidney so they can function properly. There are people that are on a heart transplant list waiting to get a new heart so that they can function. Well, I haven't heard as of yet a brain transplant, but you know what I have heard of? That there is medicinal therapy that can help an organ that is failing. And if all it takes is some medicinal therapy to help the organ, your brain that's dysfunctioning a little bit, by all means, take it so you can be the best version of you. All right, let's get back to number 2. Power struggles and control issues. Control is often the heart of the conflict. Even simple decisions can become battlegrounds, like we talked about earlier. A person deliberately throwing socks, leaving socks and stuff on the hamper is right here. And instead of putting your used clothes or your worn clothes in the hamper, you're going to throw it on the floor. Come on now. And you doing that deliberately? Wow. Okay. So even simple decisions can become battlegrounds, not because the person with ODD cares deeply about the choice, but because agreeing may feel like giving up. The devil is a lie. And I'm supposed to stay in my profession right now, but because agreeing may feel like giving up. Giving up what? Your autonomy. Giving up what? Oh, you ain't gonna control me. I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. Jesus. This sensitivity often stems from early experiences of feeling powerless. That's what it really is. Making everyday negotiations exhausting for both partners. Now, realistically, most people are not going to fight to stay in something that is exhausting. Outside of physical exercising, because we know that's exhausting, but by the end of your exercise routine, you actually have more energy, and you start seeing a better looking body and stuff like that. That's the only pressure that most people will actually pay for to get better results. Okay, is that when you go into a physical fitness routine, but a mental battle, an emotional battle with somebody. It's hard. And when they can't see that you love them enough or that you care for them deeply enough to say, listen, I know you can be the best person you can be. Just if you would just look at it as, kind of just go sit down and just get tested. The test will tell you what I can't. The test will show you what I can't show you. Just take the test to see if there's something that needs to be improved. Okay, number 3, emotional impact on partners and family members. Now, the good and bad thing about this, when you are married and have a family, is a person that is goal-oriented and accomplished and stuff, the family benefits from that. The spouse benefits from that. But on the downside of it, a person that is the opposite of that, they hinder themselves from being accomplished. They're not very goal oriented. The family is affected by that as well. So it's two sides to the coin. You flip it upside. There's an upside, you flip it, and then there's a backside to it. Okay, so emotional impact on partners and family members. Living with constant opposition can leave partners drained, frustrated, and unsure of themselves. The unpredictability of interactions create tension and can lead to anxiety. And that's on both people, the person with ODD and the person who's loving the people with ODD. Just it can affect the person who's actually there to support you. It can affect them negatively. Low self-esteem or depression sets in. Some partners feel gaslit when behaviors are denied or blame is shifted, especially since people with these symptoms of ODD may seem perfectly agreeable in other settings. And a lot of times, which that moves over into narcissistic type behavior. So if you actually will agree with somebody else, but when it comes to your partner, you disagree. Oh my gosh, that's something else. Let's move on to 5 effective communication strategies that tend to work as long as you work it with cognitive behavioral therapy. Let's move on to that. These 5 effective communication strategies. All right. So, number 1, use clear, direct language without blame. Okay. And that takes therapy on both parts. Because when a person is frustrated, when you're frustrated, you tend to say what's on your mind. You tend to just say, I'm just done, or whatever like that. So frustration leads to, and exhaustion leads to frustration. It really does. So when communicating with somebody with ODD, clarity is essential. Okay? Using clear language. Hints can lead to misinterpretations and defensive reactions. So instead, be straightforward, be specific, and focus on the behavior rather than the character judgments. For example, I feel frustrated when our plans change at the last minute, rather than you're so inconsiderate and never think about my feelings. See, exhaustion leads to frustration, and that's when that second one comes out. You're so inconsiderate. So if y'all are on this journey together and you're trying to work it together, it's easier said than done. I'm going to keep saying that. But if you can eventually begin to implement things like, I feel frustrated when our plans change at the last minute rather than something else, then everybody is leading to progress in this situation. And it says this type of approach reduces the likelihood that the person will feel attacked, and which leads to them becoming defensive. So avoid using absolutes like always and never. All right. So number 2 says to choose your battles carefully. And if you are sticking it out, if you decide to hang in there with somebody that you love, that you're married to with ODD, you're going to have to learn how to choose your battles carefully. Living with someone who has ODD means recognizing that not every issue requires confrontation. So you're going to have to ask yourself, is this worth a potential conflict? How important is this in the grand scheme of our relationship? Prioritize addressing behaviors that significantly impact your well-being or violate important boundaries, while letting go of minor irritations that won't matter in the long run. Okay? When you do decide to address these issues, timing matters tremendously. So avoid bringing up concerns when either of you are hungry, tired, or stressed, or in public situations. Okay? Choose moments when you're both relatively calm and have privacy and time to discuss the matter fully. All right? It says, for instance, someone with ODD feeling put on the spot can immediately trigger their defensive reactions. Okay? Number 3, validate feelings without agreeing with their behavior. Okay, so one of the most powerful communication tools with someone who has ODD is validation of their emotional experiences, even when you disagree with their behavior or their perspective. Use statements like, I can see why you feel frustrated about that, or that makes sense from your perspective. Acknowledge their feelings without necessarily agreeing with their conclusions or their actions. Number 4, offer choices instead of commands. So adults with ODD typically respond poorly to directives or commands, which can trigger automatic opposition. So instead, present options whenever it's possible, which preserves their sense of, okay, I have a choice here. Okay, so say something like, moving forward, example, try saying, the insurance needs to be handled by Friday. instead of saying to them, you need to call the insurance company today. All right. So something like that. That's an example. Number 5, practice active listening without interrupting. And I said last week, I saw Wicked last week, and I really enjoyed it. I really did. There was a scene in Wicked when Elsie was her and the prince, they had ran away in one of the scenes to help one of the animals. And I'm just gonna leave it like that because I don't want to give away the storyline. And so they got into kind of a heated conversation. And so Elsie was just saying what was on her mind. And the prince said to her, well, you won't let me talk. You won't let me talk. And so when he said that to her, she paused and she stopped. Then he started saying what he felt. And then at some point, she kind of raised her hand and said, can I say something now? Then he said, yeah, okay. But while she was rambling on, he had stopped. He said, you won't even let me talk. And then when he said that to her, it kind of dawned on her like, oh, wow, I'm not letting him talk. So stuff like that. This is a perfect example here about, practice active listening without interruptions. And it says many adults with ODD have a deep-seated fear of not being heard or even understood, which can fuel their oppositional behavior. So demonstrate genuine interest in their perspective by practice active listening. Maintain eye contact, avoid interruptions, and periodically summarize what you've heard them state. All right. So we're going to move on to setting healthy boundaries. And then we are going to, before we do this, let me add this in really quickly. Hold on. I'm going to add this in, guys.
How to improve your relationship with an odd spouse. Are you feeling the strain of living with a spouse who has oppositional defiant disorder? Understanding how to navigate this unique challenge can be tough. Oppositional defiant disorder is a behavioral condition that often leads to frequent temper outbursts, defiance, and difficulty accepting responsibility. This can create ongoing conflict in a marriage. First, it is important to recognize that the behaviors associated with oppositional defiant disorder are not intentional. This understanding allows you to approach your spouse with empathy instead of frustration. When it comes to communication, keeping it clear and calm is essential. Speak in a matter-of-fact manner to help reduce tension. Avoid placing blame or criticism on your spouse. Instead, focus on specific behaviors that are concerning. This approach can help minimize defensive reactions. Setting clear expectations about behavior and communication is also vital. Consistency in your expectations can lead to better understanding. Creating a supportive home environment can make a significant difference. Establish routines and boundaries that are clear and fair. This structure can help reduce stress for both partners. Encourage open dialogue about feelings and needs. Regular conversations can help both partners feel heard and understood. Seeking professional help can be beneficial for both partners. A therapist can provide strategies to manage the behaviors associated with oppositional defiant disorder and improve communication. Managing conflict effectively is another key area to focus on. Identifying triggers that lead to odd behaviors can help you prepare for challenging situations. When conflicts arise, staying calm is crucial. Avoid escalating the situation, as this can prevent conflicts from becoming overwhelming. Learning self-soothing techniques can help you manage your own stress during these times. Support is essential for both partners. Joining support groups can provide a sense of community and understanding. Encourage self-care activities for both of you. This can help reduce stress and improve overall well-being. Therapy for both partners can address individual emotional needs and relationship dynamics. Improving your relationship with a spouse who has oppositional defiant disorder requires commitment, understanding, and patience. By focusing on clear communication, creating a supportive environment, and managing conflict effectively, couples can work towards a more stable and loving relationship.
Okay. All right. So that just reiterated everything that I was just saying. So let me remove this from the studio. Okay. So setting healthy boundaries. Let me move this along. Setting healthy boundaries. Setting healthy boundaries. All right, for someone with marriages who have someone who has ODD. Number one, identify your non-negotiables. Identify them. Start by knowing your non-negotiables within your family and your marriage. The behaviors that you absolutely will not accept, such as verbal abuse or intimidation. Define them clearly and communicate them calmly during a neutral moment, so there is no room for dispute. Clear boundaries are easier to enforce and harder to challenge. Number two, managing your own emotional responses. Confrontational behavior can spark strong reactions, but staying regulated is the key. Recognize your own triggers and physical signs of tension. Then use calming techniques like deep breathing and taking short breaks before you respond. This helps prevent the cycle from escalating. Okay. Number three, setting realistic expectations. Progress with ODD is gradual. Okay, so even with effort and support, some oppositional tendencies will likely remain, especially under stress. When someone is under stress. So focus on improvement rather than perfection. And don't let setbacks overshadow the progress that you've made together. All right. So loving somebody, period, is not easy. Okay. Let's just be honest. Being in a relationship and loving someone and somebody loving you, it is not easy. I mean, you like somebody one day, you don't. But it takes a deep rooted love for you to continue to do life together. And then it makes it a little more challenging when somebody may have a disorder. But when I say, I always see the glass halfway full rather than halfway empty. And so I do know with well, first of all, I can't say what I want to say, but I do know with the proper support groups, with the proper treatments and therapies, and love. And love covers a multitude of all. Love that any relationship can last, and it can grow, and it can stay. It don't have to be stagnant. It can grow. And so it is imperative that each person in the relationship does their best to be their best for each other, but for themselves and for them family. Right now, I'm going to add Pastor Kibwe Owens in. I'm so glad that he's on with me tonight. I'm sorry. Let me add him to the stage. Good evening, Pastor Kibwe.
Good evening. Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you. And yourself?
I am doing wonderful. Doing wonderful. This is one of the topics that I hold dear to my heart because we're talking about marriages.
Yes.
And marriage is something that I truly believe God has set aside for those who desire it to possibly have it. But one thing that you said that really stood out, Shanrae, is that marriage is it is a chore. It is time you have to put in the work.
Yeah.
You have to desire it. When you look at the spiritual aspect of it, you said the word love. Love is an action word. It's not just something that you just say with your lips, but it's something that you actually have to do. Just like Christ did for us. He loved us so much that he gave his only begotten son. And we come together in marriage, in matrimony. We become one. It's not an individual. We become one. Now, yes, we all might have our own things that we bring with us. We all have our own issues. We all have our own things. But when we say that I do, we become one. And God says, look, I don't care what y'all had individually. Now y'all become one. Y'all work on things together. The Bible says that the heart of the man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps. There's a lot of tools that are being given out right now to help our marriages, to help us become one, to help us communicate, to help us work together. We know that the enemy is busy. We know that there are demonic spirits out here that are trying to separate the marriages, because if you can separate the marriages, then you can separate Christ and the church. That's what the Bible talked about. The marriage is like Christ and the church.
That's right.
So the enemy will try to come in and try to separate each and every one of us. The enemy will try to make you feel as if you're not good enough. You're not worthy. You're dealing with things like the spirit of rejection. That's why you're having a hard time. You're dealing with things like Jezebel spirits, the spirit of control. You know, we have to take tests. We have to have these hard conversations. We have to seek out help so that we can be the best that we can possibly be. God has assigned each and every one of you with a great gift.
Mm-hmm.
If God has assigned your marriage, then he has blessed your marriage. He has given you every tool that's needed. Please take advantage of every tool that's out there.
Yes.
On tonight, we've talked about several classes, talked about counselors, talked about even medicinal. There's also prayer. If you have a house of prayer, if you have a church that you can go to, seek out some spiritual counseling as well. Because we are living in a time where we truly need to stand and support one another and pray for one another. Be there for one another. Don't just give up on anybody, because God never gave up on you. You wasn't always right. You didn't always have it together. Marriages is not easy. But when we work together and we bring God in the midst, I truly believe that we can overcome everything.
Oh, yeah.
Everything. Bless you all.
Oh, thank you. Yes, you said what I wanted to say. You said what I wanted to say. Yes, you did. But I have to keep it professional. That's right. Love covers a multitude of things. That's right. And praying. And when he said pray for one another, he wasn't talking about P-R-E-Y. He was talking about that P-R-A-Y, where you pray for each other. I'm telling you, yes, and it is so imperative. Again, I do know that we can do all things, including we can our marriages can get better. We can get better. You know, I said a little bit earlier that when an organ starts to dysfunction in our body, the first thing most people will do is do what they have to do to help that organ so they can become functional. Their body can function the proper way again. And I wish that more people would look at their brain, would understand that their brain is an organ, and that sometimes if your brain as an organ starts to break down and not be as functional as it once was, it is okay to go get the help or to get the medicinal therapy and get the cognitive behavioral therapy, the different strategies and things that you need so it can become functional once again and whole again. And I don't know, I can't say it enough. It's okay to help yourself be the best version of yourself. But it's not okay to continue in the same keep going in a downward cycle, and then you look up and every time you turn around, you're losing family, or your family members, you're losing relationships, you're losing this, and you're repeating the same thing over and over again. Oh, it's them. No, if you find yourself constantly saying it's them, you need to, start evaluating and saying, you know what, it's not. I have something to do with what part that I play in this. And so let's talk about, I'm going to give the takeaway with the 5 C's of discipline. And then I'm going to give this quote because this quote that I've been quoting for the last few weeks is powerful. The takeaway for tonight and has been for the last 3 weeks is the 5 C's of discipline. It says clarity is number 1. Consistency is number 2. Proper communication is number 3, caring is number 4, and creating a sense of responsibility. These 5 principles emphasize setting clear rules, consistently enforcing them, talking with the person with ODD about the rules and their feelings, providing support and encouragement to yourself and to the person that may be experiencing this, and then helping the person with ODD understand their responsibility, helping them understand. But that person who has the disorder, they have to understand their responsibility as well. Okay, the quote And I love this quote, and I'm probably going to keep using this. The quote says, mastering other people shows strength. It really does. But when you master your own self, now that's true power. And that's by Lao Tzu. I'm gonna say that again. Mastering other people shows that you strong, you have strength there. But when you can master your own self, now that's true power. And that's by Lao Tzu. All right. So I'm gonna let me give my quick service announcements very quickly. And then I want Pastor Kibwe to say something else before we close out tonight. So this is my theory website page. And I'm gonna open this a little bit and close it back. That's for my fellow counselors. All right. And here we go. Better Up. To create a personal and professional transformation through expert coaching. If you're looking for a life coach, www.betterup.com is a great source to go to. Ada Plus Community, empowering adults with ADD, ADHD, and ODD to live their best lives. A different brain requires a different approach. www.adapluscommunity.com. Better Help. If you want a safe space to speak with a licensed professional online, BetterHelp offers affordable counseling sessions for an individual, for couples, and for family members. www.betterhelp.com. 988 Crisis Helpline. Help is available. So if you would like to connect with somebody, with people that you can trust, if you're struggling or you know someone that's struggling, it is okay to share your feelings. The 988 Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people who are in distress. Prevention and crisis resources for them or for yourself or your loved ones, and best practices for professionals within the United States. 988 Crisis Helpline. I'm going to open this up, and I've been sharing this all month long. Please, please, pretty please, if you are ever in a place where you're so low and you're feeling so low, I don't just take your phone and dial 988. And if you just listen to you don't have to say anything. You matter. You matter, you matter, you matter. And wherever you are, if you're in that low place, things will get better. They will get better. Okay? So please use the resource 988. Okay, you matter. All right, let me go back. Learning RX. Learning RX, I love this organization. It's a brain training organization. Most of the people who are connected with them, their IQs have increased by at least 13 points. During their time of brain training, they have made significant gains in skills like their working memory, their long-term memory, and their attention. www.learningrx.com. All right. So if there's a past Counsel of the Day with Shanrae series that you have missed or you just may want to rewatch, go to my YouTube channel at Shanrae Price. Press a like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications, and then select any past series that you would like to watch. And also, if you're interested in professional one-on-one counseling services, feel free to contact me via any of my inboxes on my social media pages. All of my social media pages are under Shanrae Price. The only one that is different is my Facebook page, and that's under Shanrae Owens. You can inbox me, and we can go on and we can schedule a consultation with you and move on from there. Okay, I am a lifestyle strategist, and my aim is to aid you in your life's goals and your life's dreams. Last week, someone was on and they were listening, and they inboxed me afterwards. We wound up having an impromptu consultation for 1 hour after the Counsel of the Day with Shanrae, and the person was just so elated. When we finished, they got off of the line with such, you can hear the glee in their voice. And so if you don't feel comfortable with contacting me, please use any one of the resources that I did, that I talked about. BetterHelp, the online services. They have different types of services, but there is a lot of help out there. It's okay to use it, and so you can be the best version of you. Pastor Kibwe, would you like to say invest on tonight?
Amen. Just want to remind everybody that you matter. You matter. You know, Michael Jackson had a song. It was entitled "Man in the Mirror." Whenever you get an opportunity, take a look at yourself. And we pass by the mirror. I think it's about 14 to 17 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, stop and take a good look at yourself and remind yourself of who you are. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are an overcomer. You are victorious. You are everything that God says that you are. And I want you to remind you that your situations do not define you. Your circumstances do not define you. Your past, your mistakes, they do not define you.
No.
We all mess up. We all have history, but I'm grateful that we serve a God that is able to give us resources that we can reach out to for help. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. That's one thing within the society and community now. We feel that it's something wrong for asking for help. There's nothing wrong for reaching out and asking for help. You can do it as a community or you can do it individually. My prayer is that every marriage that is listening or every married person that is listening to Shanrae Counsel of the Week tonight is going to truly receive everything and hear everything that they need to help them and their marriage go to the next level.
That's right.
It starts with you making the choice. Make the choice today. Tomorrow's not promised to either one of us. Make that choice today. Bless you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hopefully and prayerfully, Pastor Kibwe will finish out tomorrow night with me. And then we will see you in February 2026. Y'all have a good evening. See you tomorrow night. And then y'all have a wonderful Thanksgiving week. And we'll go from there. I'll see y'all next year. But tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, part 2. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you for joining.